Look, I am a psychology professor, all right? My credentials are as valuable as that squeaking duck your dog likes to chew on, while a disturbed individual by the name of Fjetten Krass Snooten Ute is masturbating beside of him while he is watching intently. Because of that useless piece of used toilet paper smelling like a corpse, it's decomposing shit that hadn't been passed before he died, which makes dead shit stink even harder than their fresher cousins, because just not as ripe yet. Look, I get to look down on people with a arrogant mug, shaking my head in disbelief when I hear them utter delusional rhetoric. When I myself, or not when I believe in an unseen entity in the sky, with no proof whatsoever that it exists, but just take scrolls and scripts on face value and people's word for it. But that's not the same as being delusional like anyone else would be by doing so. Speaking of my fields of expertise, I can spot a narcissist from miles away, but not interviewing them in the Oval Office, just sitting meters away from the king of all narcissists. But it might as well stem from the fact that I am politically biased or politically invested about what I love to have implemented as regards for my own well-being and the Republican nature that would make that happen. But I will let you make up which one it is, but there's no reason to not select both being true. If I had to truthfully diagnose myself, I would not be able to just use selective personality facts I can personally agree or disagree with from the behavioral psychology traits I have displayed myself so far, must be as stupid as that deranged, disturbing man. You know the fella Fjetten Krass Snooten Ute we talked about earlier. I go by the name Dr. Phill, but you could use my nickname that would be more accurate, seen as how I choose to present myself, Dr. Phill of shit. I would need to opt out from the usual cognitive dissonance I would otherwise use to dodge reality about having to come to terms on the fact that I'm the poster child of hypocrisy that suffers from occasional narcissism once in a while, and to really back myself into a psychological corner, I would use process of elimination on myself by pointing out that if I choose to neglect those factual behaviors I exude, that the only other real alternative would be as damaging as the other one. The only other alternative I would have left in that case, I'm way too stupid to even practice my position as a psychology professor. If I can't even diagnose the person most closest to me, which is myself, I can't truthfully say I mastered anything. But being a total jackass wannabe. You know, you might not realize it by just me having to resort to podcasting by myself, because I'm not a success as I actually am anymore, but as a narcissist, I need to constant feedback of admiration by any means so. You are seeing me appearing on podcasts these days because I am such a has-been right now that no studio or broadcast network still finds that I'm worth being funded at all, so without them deciding to come back on their absolutely smart and accurate decision, I cannot do a lot but sit here destroying my microphone by uttering pure nonsensical gibberish with my spit, slowly ruining the microphone by letting my saliva saturate it until it rusts from the inside out the exact same way like I did with my integrity and devotion to upholding true clinical profession.
Yeah, well, we can disagree on a lot of things, but we cannot disagree on the fact that I am a exceptional case of misrepresenting reality, and as an extra bonus, completely make myself ridiculous by trying to manipulate facts. Just anybody with a working perception has the capability to call bullshit on that immediately. You see me on Fox doing the segment, you know, the 5 self-loathing shitbags. I, of course, beat every single other participant by a ridiculous margin.
Ha ha ha, sure man, sure does. Bob, I'm quite sure you're the funny guy, aren't you, at the bounce castle parties or at the zoo pointing at hairy gorillas when they jerk themselves off with the food people throw at them, but alas, Bob, we're nowhere near any, so let me lay it out for you this time. I may not have your typical street horse smarts, but I'm for sure as cheap as one, so Bob, you can F the fucking... buddy, I don't need this shit. I already had myself a piece of stoved shitloaf earlier. So are you going to introduce me to your hot couch cushion you're sitting on with your unattractive meatloaf of a shit waffle patty, or what? I hope you didn't rely on trying to score with me here, because the biggest mistake you could make is sitting in a frickin' dusty antique chair that still has some ass hair with shit sticking out its pockets, because that's bringing the big guns to the penis shaft. You feel me here, Patty. You're blasting with a big erection bazooka at my yokel here. Hey, would you mind grabbing my medicine out of my medicine cabinet for me? It's nothing serious, you know, just taking precaution measures against me swinging my stinky Sierra Russ against the armrest of the chair you're sitting on. I've gambled with my restraint capabilities before and ended up losing far more than I thought I would when I went foul house with my stinker when I royal flushed her guts out of the chair she was sitting on across from me when I fiddled with my cheesy Billy on set. Oh, you know, like every other child, my childhood was a regular one-off course. We didn't have a lot to amuse ourselves with. You know, as hillbillies, our dads and uncles were making moonshine, while the rest of us would get our asses slapped from a typical healthy Caucasian skin color all the way up to purple. And if Nana had slept good the night before, she'd continue slapping our ass cheeks until they turned to pure necrosis, black really, just those kind of cliche type occupations, you know? And if we didn't need stitches afterwards from all the grandmas smacking the flesh off of our bones, we played board games, you know, D&D Dungeons, and drank tons of it until our undeveloped livers developed cirrhosis and then needed to be airlifted to the nearest hospital to fill in the necessary paperwork for waivering my right to receive a full new healthy liver transplant and instead a partially damaged one as a penalty for having sinned indulging in underage illegal alcohol consumption. And what's up with all that Beyonce crap and Rihanna bullshit? R&B, you say, how about some hillbilly inbred REM instead, my friends, and classic old redneck embarrassing music, you know, blowing your lungs into an empty moonshine bottle standing straight on only one side of your body while slapping the other one on your knee, spasming out of control because maybe it would have been wiser not to drink the entire bottle of whiskey in just one glug so you wouldn't spasm there uncontrollably by having a stroke. Can the cameraman please recite some recent hot and pornographic yard sales to me? Please, like sofa on sale on 15 Boulevard Avenue or dumped foul stinking lawn chair, free to take to the dumbed, to be recycled in some aluminum pots that contain dead dust mites who've been ravaged to death by ejaculating on the same spot over and over, sperm cells and dust mites dying together in agony. That'd be fantastic. Need something to get my rusty Cletus coming back out of his barn again with guns blazing. Hey, Donald, just a quick reminder, you better win the midterm elections as well. You know, if you still value our little arrangement to keep on functioning on good terms, 4-year term subscription you are currently enjoying being subscribed to is not the only possibility we have to offer you. You know, the option for you to upgrade your current subscription plan to Platinum here on JD Vance Sellout Modules and Packages is perhaps the right one for you. Please do consider subscribing to our most premium of packages to guarantee yourself the most beneficial experiences we have to offer. If the thing you're after is for me to be your presidential second grade degraded cheap hillbilly prostitute for another 4 years after this one, so that I keep the H word out of my hypocrisy production chamber, aka my opinion factory, on sale for the highest bidder, you know, but that means you have to stay the highest bidder for that plan to be able to be realized. We both profit from that module and need to keep it that way.
How much will it cost me exactly?
Well, Mr. President, here at JD Vance Customer Service, we're all about connecting on the level our subscriptors are able to afford to the best of their current capabilities, offer plans that are affordable down the line. Long-term solutions is one, for example. If you do get the next presidency and already pre-install me and already put me down for a next 4-year term in advance, because here we're all about wait for advancing, of course, haha, pun intended here at Vance. We always strive to advance.
Well, all right, Platinum it is.
Congratulations, Mr. President, and welcome to the Platinum membership package. You'll receive a worthless, cheap plastic JD Vance keychain figurine being postured readying himself on the floor where he is assuming the classic anus rape position.
Are you also for rent? Because my nephew needs a yokel to degrade in the presence of his friends to look powerful and demand respect, because the Trump name does not retain its fear status it once had on people the moment I ran for president for the first time. Why the phenomena and the peculiar time frame overlap perfectly is still a real mystery to me, but I have people looking into that as we speak.
Yeah, I'll give you my business card for that one. I'll rent myself out to be appearing on birthday parties as a stand-in redneck Republican clown without needing the illusion of makeup to look the spitting image of one. But I am a harsh deal maker, so birthday cake up front, all right, or no deal.
Well, how much birthday cake are we talking about here? We cheapskate on everything here in the Trump family, so keep that in mind. You can have the slice my Aunt Bernice always wipes her overripe hormonal estrogen snot on, and then usually my Uncle Platypus spreads his ass cheeks wide and violently farts the slice of cake on the floor because he has OCD.
Well, Mr. President, then I only have just one question left for you. Does that slice of cake remain on the floor longer than 5 seconds? If it does not, I will get you into contact with my assistant immediately to go through the necessary paperwork with you.
Why does this coffee smell like it has no frog testicle pate in it? Don't tell me it's because there's none in there, Michael. I'll go freaking Rambo on your ass if that's the case. Oh, no. Look in my eyes, you smelly tampon. Do I seem amused, you stupid, smelly, severed African boob? I don't think so, right?
Hey, what the hell just happened? Did you just made me stop ejaculating on my Belgian waffle underneath the table? What kind of a way is that to treat your guests? Yo, you really are a piece of work, you know that, Kenny. Are you going to deny me the opportunity to take a dump on your butler's knee as well? Yeah, right, like that's going to happen. Nothing here is going to make me change my mind about barfing on your walls until the paint comes off saturated by all the vomit layers I sprayed on it. I got a barf bucket full with stomach paint ready to go and an ass full of liquid shit to empty on your pillows. Why is there no gentleman beside me who hasn't brushed his teeth for years breathing in my nose, Benny? I specifically put it in my demands of criteria I need met before I would be doing a talk show with you. The stench of rotten food stuck between somebody's teeth is my fuel engine. It gets me going.
May I go and smell the pile of goat shit your goat just emptied out his anus, Manfred? What do you mean no by the rules of ownership? Once you discard a smelly object out your personal brown inventory, it no longer is owned by anybody and is therefore accessible for everyone to take in a quick shit whiff.
Oh, so, hey, where's that sexy rat gone off to? Can't stop thinking of it after I seen that fine piece of ass. Lord save me right. If you see the creature again, would you put in a good word for me, Dennis? Melania isn't sexual available no more, but that's understandable when you always need to make sure you have vomit bags lying around because my breath is too much for anyone to handle. I am very surprised Melania has taken so much of it without becoming a freshly dug grave at the cemetery at this point. Couldn't imagine it myself having to smell my own gusts of decomposition breath while screwing myself. You know what? Forget the rat. Quickly grab me a vomit bag. I'm too nauseated. I'm serious. I am so nauseated I could barf whole Disneyland to shame. I'm not going to do that to that poor animal. It would be the equivalent of me breathing strong rat poison in its face. It would only take one whiff and I would no longer be screwing a rat, but a corpse with rat barf on it. Hey, what a hot eyebrow infection you got, man. Jesus, I can barely focus on the topic we were talking about. You did that on purpose, right? Knowing well enough I can't resist inflammation and infections. You better show me your anus injuries as well. If you have any, I'll become enraged if you don't. Oh, no, Yodo lied to me. You have an injury in your turd maker, isn't it? Oh, I mean it, Jonathan. If I smell some dead white blood cells in your ass, we're going to have a big problem here. So what is it going to be, Jonathan? Are you going to let me fuck your open wound, you fucking methane troll?
Oh my God, Donald, that's it. Nobody snorkels with their ass open. This is the kind of stuff that makes me sweat sea cucumbers out my ass. And if you keep on pushing me at a certain point, some mayonnaise will start to fly out of there as well. I'm already shivering urine out of my Joe from being furious.
I am going to sue the Minute Maid Soup and Orange Juice Company, who are clearly lying when they say it takes only one goddamn minute. But it took me way longer, so either they're lying to me or they have a defamation on their hands. It clearly implicates me being too stupid to be able to do it faster. If I can't do it within the minute, Superman himself could not make it less time-consuming. That's more than obvious. I also have a legal team looking into which names are on Guinness World Book of Records and sue all of them being listed as record holders. Nobody ever outperforms me. There's just no way.
Hey, Stefan, my brother, did I leave my putrid bar of crap in your aquarium last Wednesday? Or did I roll it in a feces blunt and just smoke my ass raw with it? I can't remember. But if it turns up, please don't throw it away. If you'll let me know, I'll come and smoke my dick into pure Steamboat Willie.
I think I'm entering a kind of phase in my life because all of a sudden I only want to jerk myself off with oven mitts. Don't know why exactly, but hey, if it gets the job done, it stays employed. You don't fire a good workers now, do you? You give them a big raise so you can empty it out even more. I am not afraid of many things, but if there is anything at all that scares me into cardiac arrest, it would be the ruthless cigarette beasts of puff, 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 poof. The myth goes that those flying, smoking bundles of hair could be heard taking drags and observe them puffing smoke from miles away. Well, of course, it doesn't scare you. You are from the modern times. I am already 3 generations older, for in my day, we did not have a lot of imaginations, so everybody needed to be scared straight with something. And because of the lack of subject, it became chimney sweepers, scared shitless.
I'm an entrepreneur. I can look at any random object and make a fortune out of idea. For example, you see that gay couple over there? And now think about Tic Tacs. I'll produce the same little tablets, but my target group are queers, put a lot of pink in there, and put some faggot nip in it. Boom, Tic Tac, Dick fag. Hey, what do you mean I can't shit in your baby's eyeballs? You already denied me the joy of cleaning out her ears by pissing out the clogged up earwax. I haven't been treated this inhospitable since I had a starfish shoved in my ass by a individual angry because I squirted my diarrhea at it. We're not going to remain good friends if you're going to deny me coughing on your dick while you're showering and denying me the privilege to stretch out the integrity of my anus till its breaking point, then completely rupture it so that my excrement flies all across your bedroom while I piss on your pillow. And while we are at it, how come you didn't confirm my invitation of attending my pan flute castrating rainworm orgy festival? You still owe me from not showing up at my semen sauce fondue tasting or the activity where we blow out our snot at the balls of a peacock and clobber his scrotum to a paste. Are you one of those guys, huh? Doing nothing all day but loving to read a newspaper in the vicinity of the penis of a giraffe that suffers from dripping dick syndrome, so you can sit and enjoy reading your paper while you welcome the stench that comes off the giraffe, his dick, with your nose against it. But you can make it up to me by going with me on a tour where we pest your Catholic priests by stalking them with pieces of porn magazines wrapped all over us until they break and masturbate like crazy on the spot like a possessed demon. And we take the sperm soap wooden cross with us as a souvenir.
I'm a cautious man. I always keep an extra fart in a bottle nearby so that if the urge becomes too strong, I can excuse myself from the dinner table or wherever I might be, ruining precious moments of others just by being there. Whenever I bothered enough of people, I take advantage of people not caring if I'm gone or not, so I can sneak out and go grab my fart bottle, take the bottle in one of those bathroom stools. I position myself in my smell fart posture, then with a anxious face, slowly taking the lid off the bottle and just hang with grinding teeth over it, smelling farts until I pass out, falling with my drooling mouth flat on the floor, then quickly getting out of there with a bloody lip and my false teeth still stuck in there with some anus residue. And I just completely lose it and go at it like a starved-out manure fly on a freshly laid, steaming clump of partially hardened asshole cement, and forcefully inhale ass fumes until I've given myself asthma. It might seem a bit excessive, but I do it only once every 2 weeks. It's fart overdosing, but with a limit. And as soon as everybody starts to eat, I call the waiter and say, hey, excuse me, but there is a reflection of me visible in my nettle soup. How do you expect me to eat it with my appetite-preventing mug staring at me? And I'm not overreacting here. If you place me in a room with a lot of people, I create passive starvation. They all lose their appetite for as long as I'm there. People, I suffer from poontang wang, and it completely devastates my unresponsive pissing noodle. I need to get him some tang ASAP. People letting my urea pipe just completely dry out because he couldn't get some of that estrogen-rich fallopian tube fried paste. Is not only sadistic, it's even un-American. Oh, man, yesterday a gypsy curse lady was threatening to put a devastating curse on my identity. I looked at her with a facial expression that articulated my profound, mocking amusement of that remark and corrected her immediately and said, I'm sorry, you crystal ball vagina-stuffing whore. Just go and resume giving blowjobs to unhygienic trolls and offer sexual transmitting diseases to anus-soaked gremlins with your famine-plagued, stench-producing horror chamber of a decomposing female stink box. You obviously were born yesterday, so let me just state the obvious here. Our Holy Father has already beaten you to it the moment he delivered me as he did. All right, take that, you repulsive fortune-smelling bitch. If you think that laying tarot cards is somehow making anybody horny, you are beyond help.
Yeah, you know, I've always been for managing your addictions. If we do not keep ourselves in check, we might end up on a Tuesday morning having to explain away why we are stuck with our penis in a sour pickle jar while whistling the Disney jingle, hey ho, We need to go and cool off our dicks in the snow.
Oh, Jesus Maria and her secret Spanish impregnator, Josel's F. What in slut's name are you doing, Donald? A sour pickled jar? Seriously? For the love of Frankenstein? Sardine shit, Donald? I knew you deprived, but as deprived as a bag of half-eaten expired Nigerian nipple tits, I'd never have guessed that. But thinking back, actually, it's not that surprising at all. If you look at the time where you screwed newborn beavers into several pieces, you penetrated them into autopsy while you were flipping off their mother when she bit you in your oversaturated, hoarded layers of lethal acidic sperm cell piss. Donald, you remind me of my fat, greedy Uncle Boobsmurt. He wasn't liked at all. Even the sheep and goats would go and squeeze their anus until all the arteries bursted open and bled to death on purpose right in front of him, to protest their negative feelings about him. Sometimes pigeons join in. Why do I even try learning you any manners, Donald? If you think it's appropriate to flip off your skin mites and draw two papier-mâché dicks, having intercourse with a poster of Mother Teresa's stink lip, I can't help you. You're a lost cause. Give up and go jerk off in front of ordinary...
Hey, let me cut you off right there. Patricia, do you even know how bad America's economy was before I took it over from the Biden administration? Couldn't even afford my daily transfusions of worm penis being injected direct in my bloodstream. And worst of all, I could not afford the shipment anymore of imported Malaysian ball sweat that has been enriched with sexual organ compost that has been laid out rotting in the open sun of orphan children who won't be missed on purpose. For reasons unknown, I begin sweating my urine instead of sweat its. With a proud heart, I can share this with you, my fellow Americans, because as the trend keeps putting its foot down from the beginning of my presidency, when you see me opening my bacteria housing project facility, the only likeliness you can expect leaving from it is going to be either a cloud of green mustard gas cloud with bacteria that ride on it like a laden on a flying carpet, or be nonsensical bullcrapping on a bad day. A and B will have sex, and you're going to be the victims of that unthinkable, horrifying ordeal. Thank you for your attention on this matter, DJT. I just had a prostate exam, and the doctor congratulated me on the fact that he has never examined a prostate quit like mine. He even needed to sit down because he had trouble comprehending the scope of my excellent prostate. And that's no coincidence, by the way. Last week I was masturbating in a swingers club. Boo! And suddenly a gust of Trump cheese flew in my face, and I ended up barfing violently on a woman's face. She said, "Mr. Trump, sorry for the tears running down my cheeks, but your barf on my face has just been the most best vomit I've ever gotten puked under my eyelid. Would there be any chance to invite you to go hyena dick sniffing with me later? I bought off the zoo for us to be able to press our noses against the peeing shafts of dying hyenas when it's all peace and quiet, and we might as well go and try smacking baboon asses in a more fluorescent red color than the one they already have. One time I was so fortunate that when I pistol whipped a baboon, its anus a shit. Pebble flew right up my nose and made it inflame to a point my nostrils began to vibrate, and it created the illusion I snorted a harp up there earlier because my nostril string started making terrible high-pitched noise because of it." You know, I grew up with stories that were more amusing than the ones you have now with Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty and all that. I mean, could you be more censored then? I don't think so. Let me tell everyone, there once was a whore overflowing with semen, and for some reason she even kept getting sperm donations while no one was still busy emptying their scrotum pus in a clitoris. But after a little while, the scrotum pus would have turned into syphilis on steroids with herpes on the side. The syphilis did not even think about sparing the woman the excruciating ordeal of plaguing her vagina, while herpes was more considerate and only occasionally went to town on her clitoris lip flaps and inflamed them to the point they might as well contain an overkill amount of Botox, because they would make a clown's nose seemed like a tiny little midget. They grew 10 times their original size, and Mrs. Gluten Pepin, the whore, zipped up her fly one time to many and zipped her lips clean off the end. I was so bad at my ego and my image at the school. I was being bullied at that. Nobody was wanted to be my friend or good and take any failure or even losing at anything. My mind is first. When we're talking just plain reality dynamics here, I cannot lose because they called me a loser. And if that was the game and I'm the loser, then that makes me the winner the very moment I was crowned the title of being a loser, right? I cognitively distanced myself nicely on this one, didn't I? Denise, Denise, it's good that you bring that topic up to me. Yes, I do love myself a very old, rotten, dead body's crotch to smell now and then. Thank you for inviting me to. It was your deceased grandmother. You say, "Oh, well, I hope that old hag will have something to offer for my nose to whiff the embalming fluid from her necrosis vagina dry. So you just give me a sign at the wake when the greeting is over so that I can give her a personal nosy greeting of my own. If you catch my drift, does she still wear her urine-soaked pants from dying? Because there is actually nothing quite like resting your nose for hours on end on the crotch of an old hag whose clitoris is covered with rigor mortis urine. Yeah, no, the absolutely most harrowing there is to enjoy. But you know, in case urine-soaked briefs are already removed, I will restrain myself and only shove a bouillon cube up her dry shithole to gather the taste of crap I can turn into a nice feces soup later. Does anybody else love to skip dentist appointments just to return to their home address to ring the bell, and when they open the door and quickly breathe very heavily in their direction and let them inhale the full extent of those missing dentist appointments to clean your mouth from all those nasty oral bacteria that whore themselves around as very cheap prostitutes? You know, it's the absolute accumulation of dead stink in the true depths of the oral stench odor sewer pit we call our rotting stumps of teeth home for, as long as there is still a process of rot going on in that gas chamber, I guess. As long as there's still rotting in there, our gums will not need to be lonely, at least. It's a dilemma, you know, false teeth are not able to be getting rotten, but you know, those are false. But then on the other hand, those rotten stumps are still very much yours. Hippity hoppity poo, can you please not flush the next clump of shit that comes out of you, because I will go right next after you, so I will lay mine on yours, and it will be a festival of poo and shit from the likes you've never seen or smelled before. For that matter, your dog loves sniffing butts, and a dog is an animal. We are animals. It's just natural that you have an animalistical urge to rub your nose against somebody's asshole until their anal flesh explodes off. It's only natural to crave the smell of pure anus residue once in a while. And when I feel the urge to crank it up a notch because of getting aroused, would have really hit a fan somewhere, because that's when my nose accidentally turns into a flint in that situation, and it'll ignite all the methane that has been accumulated on your brown stank pot over your lifetime. And if that's the case, oh mama, time to cork the champagne, baby, because your stupid slot machine of crap has finally dropped all sevens here. Always keep a flask nearby just in case, so that I can scoop up those severed layers of burned fecal flesh to take home with me laid on the table and hang over it while enjoying whiffing the stench off of it, slowly dissipating in the air. And then I usually call Melania and signal to her to prep up her Slovenian estrogen bunker for a sudden devastating blitzkrieg invasion by my one-time active soldier commandant, Johannes. Wiener Schnitzel reporting back for duty shit is like the holy grail of Viagra to me. Better be ready to sacrifice some of your turd meat, and better make sure you have enough money for shithole surgery afterwards, because those anal skin graft procedures tend to suck your bank account dry in an instant. Believe me, you can check the homeless shelter in New York. They'll confirm that more than half of the population they currently offer shelter to has been reported to put in an application request right after they've been seen hanging out with me. You know, it comes and goes, but I like to yell at my incompetent scrotum lies who do not feast on my hairy ball meat. I'm a real harsh and direct guy. If you're going to stay on my junk, you're going to act like the parasite you are normally needed to be. You're not pulling your weight, so I will not stop screaming, even with means pointing a megaphone at it, and absolutely scream the tonsils out my throat until I see some dick meat fly off. Otherwise, you will not see me enjoying my evening that night. Can I show you my collection of burglarized shower drain hair that I've collected over the years? Observe some hairy, filthy, unhygienic people that practically only take a shower once every blue moon, because that's where the shower drain really pays out all the oils, and dense, saturated layers of filth really get fused in the strains of hair you can enjoy the rotten stench. It gives off for at least a significant portion of the foreseeable future. It's a very demanding but still a very satisfying hobby.